Hiya, mate.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. That's perfect. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Can you see me okay? It's a bit sunny.
Yeah. It's a wee bit sunny at that. Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
How would I? Perfect.
super.
Yeah. How's things? How's things your end?
Good, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like everybody else, adapting, adjusting. But no, I'm not. I've not been up nor down with it in terms of strong emotion. Um, um, just trying to, yeah, just trying to do what's necessary to kind of adapt the business to kind of suit the circumstances that we're in, and just try and yeah, just try and keep things going in that way. But yeah, what about yourself? How are you finding things?
I mean, like really good, like in a sense of like my own personal, like how I'm coping with the environment and stuff. I mean, we've got me and Stephanie have obviously got a 19-month-old here, so you know it's nice to spend time. Obviously, she's keeping us on our toes. I think obviously we'll tap into like your training and stuff, but
Mm.
had I maybe not had that training, I don't think I'd be coping with it in the same way.
Mm.
Dog outside. I don't think Benji. Sorry, mate.
Don't worry.
Benji, come on, son. What's this? 2 seconds, mate. I'm just going to get him.
No problem.
Sorry. Aye, so I think with the training and stuff that obviously you done the 8-week course, it's definitely helped massively. I can tell because I think the other day I had a day when I couldn't understand the way I was feeling. I was feeling really quite heavy and down. I just I was saying to Stephanie, and even Stephanie could feel that energy off me, and I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know why I'm feeling like this, but I don't really need to put anything on it. I just need to understand. I just need to realise that this is just how I'm feeling at this time. It might be things that are going on around me. It might be people or things or whatever it may be, but I can't change any of it. I'm here, so I had to sit with it. It wasn't very nice to sit with it, but
Mm.
understanding it and Stephanie obviously working together in a partnership, like in a relationship, she's understanding me and
Mm.
energy, and I understand her. And when we do these things and we learn these, like I'm learning these things, it's quite amazing how to like you're not. I think maybe in the past I maybe would have looked into it or then maybe reacted or like maybe started to not act out in a bad, just unaware of the way I was feeling, whereas I had that awareness obviously, and
Yeah.
it's good. And I think that's the only really bad day I've kind of had, in the sense of like how I was feeling. I think the rest of the time I've just been kind of going with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, eh?
And these feelings are natural. You know, we're going to have a you know, a broad range of emotions and feelings that are passing through, and as you say, we don't always need to know the answer in terms of where it's came from and what's, you know, there are, as you say, there are external factors, there are internal factors, and learning how to notice first and foremost, which is what the course really does, at the very basic first step, is to help people to notice more about what's happening as it's happening. So we notice how we're feeling. We notice if we're caught up in our heads, ruminating over particular kinds of thoughts, and then that gives us the ability to choose if we want to continue to engage in our minds in the way we are, or it gives us the opportunity to explore how we're feeling, and then also be aware of maybe if we're basically behaving in a more automatic way, in a more reactive way. Sometimes we can, because we're not feeling great, we can then project that onto other people, and we can get moody, we can be unpleasant to be around, that kind of stuff. And that's something that the course is is brilliant for, because it really gets us much more aware of that. So what you've said is great, you know, it teaches us as well just to be okay with the different changing experiences that we're having, you know, without needing to make it go away immediately, because it's a transient thing. It's moving through, so it will leave in its own time, as long as we don't over-identify with it. I think
Yeah.
it's the over-identification with the feelings and the emotions and the thought patterns that can prolong certain certain mental states that we find ourselves in, or emotional states that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's again, it's all it's all a new learning curve for me. I mean, you can tell just the way you're speaking, you're very experienced now, or getting a lot more experience. Obviously, you'll be in your own personal journey at the moment. And you just
Are you still there, Darryl? Just lost you a wee bit there.
Yeah,
I can
you
hear
hear
you
me now?
now. Yeah, you're back. Just ask that question again. I just missed the sort of the ending of it.
It was just a little bit about, like, obviously, Gary, you're on your own journey and stuff, and you know you're obviously quite experienced in the way that you're doing this, and you're training it now, and you know you'll be at a different level from most of the people. But I think that how did you come about mindfulness? How did it become? How did you bring it into your life, and why did you bring it into your life?
So I previously worked in a corporate career for about 23 years, and I had probably, I would say maybe 8 years ago, I had started to, 8 or 9 years ago probably, I had started my journey into what you would regard as more kind of spiritual practice, if you like, you know, just experimenting with different things, Reiki, theta healing, reconnective healing, different forms of meditation, yoga. I had a wee break with a contract at my work, I remember, and I did a fair bit of Bikram yoga during that time, and you know, just really enjoyed that, because I do enjoy the more intense type of workouts or things that are kind of, you know, mind body related. So that was, you know, I really enjoyed that. But all of these things had started to awaken me more to myself, and awaken me more to the wider world and what was going on. And it was during that kind of process, probably probably between 2014 and 15, where I started to explore mindfulness, because I'd been introduced to meditation through a friend that I used to go and see, who I used to go and see for Reiki sessions. She said, you should try meditation. And then I kind of just stumbled into mindfulness, started to do some online meditations, and then I decided to go and train, like what the course that you came to train with Craig and I. I did my 8-week course. So I went and did my mindfulness-based living course, and that was the moment for me where it just hit home. Probably about halfway through that, I was, you know, I can remember feeling quite a bit of a range of different emotions and feelings as I was engaging in the different practices, but it was bringing really useful stuff to my attention. And about halfway through it, I just had this moment of clarity where I thought, this is it. This is, for me, this is going to be so important, and not only for me but for other people. And I started to then get a real feeling that this kind of knowledge and insight and practices should really be more widely understood and accessible to more people. So I took the sort of the what I learned on that course. I decided to put together an idea for a business, and in 2016 I left my my corporate career to take a big leap of faith to go into this road. And I didn't, when I did my 8-week course, I didn't immediately fully commit to the practice in a way where I was consistent with it day on, day out, week in, week out. I was a little bit inconsistent with it, which is really common for a lot of people. And it was probably a few months had elapsed after the course had completed that I started to become more aware of the difference in me when I was consistent with my practice versus when I wasn't consistent with it. And I was starting to fall back into old patterns, old habits. And that was the thing that really got me motivated to take it more seriously and to commit myself and make this something that really needed to be part of just what I did every day. And as you know, Daryl, there's a lot of range of different practices that we can do. There's different ways we can be mindful, where we don't just have to sit and meditate. We can do it as we move around our day, in everyday life activities and tasks. We can be intentional about being really mindful, being really present in there, and just notice and observe what the mind's doing, and give ourselves, resource ourselves so we can choose how we want to respond in every sort of given moment. And we'll not be perfect with that. We're human, so we will still react. We will still do things that are maybe a bit old habit, and we want to kind of move beyond, but we don't criticize ourselves for these things. We just notice it, and we then, we then move forward with a positive intention, not to repeat the things that maybe we think are not helpful. So the practice is a life changer for people. It's a life changer for individuals, and it's a life changer for the people around that individual too, whether it be partners, whether it be friends, family, work colleagues. Because when we start to lead with more mindful awareness and presence and compassion and kindness and being more collaborative and all that kind of stuff, when we start to lead from that place, then other people immediately benefit from that, because we're good to be around, and we're role modeling how to manage our energy in a way that means that we don't get swept away in difficult times. We don't get triggered emotionally too often, and when we role model that to other people, particularly children, then they're learning how to do that too.
Yeah. It's definitely like obviously this has been going on for years, these kind of practices in different places in the world and stuff like that. Obviously, you were tapping into a little bit of Buddhism almost into when on the course. I think like bringing it here now for our children to now live in a time of these changes. I think everybody's learning stuff like mindfulness, or a lot of people are bringing it into their day-to-day lives now, and obviously the effect that that's going to have in the long plan, in the long game, is going to be, I think, amazing. It's going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely.
One of the main reasons why I started to actually tap into this kind of stuff a couple of years ago and tried to keep in it, and was the fact that I was working all the hours under the sun. I was playing my part-time football, and then obviously I was just completely burnt out all the time, and I think like still socialising and maybe over socialising at times, and I think that I was there, like I was there, but I wasn't there. I was zoned out. I was exhausted, and I knew things in my life had to change. I went through a massive process, and my body telling me, say like spiritual things, like all these different practices and all these different things kept coming to me. It was like I was being guided towards things, and I completely let go and just almost let the universe, kind of God, whatever, take over, and just go in that ring. I see numbers, and I seen all these different signs, like a big truck going by with a name or something that I just seen like 2 hours ago that was telling me to see. Like, it was just a mad process. But I do think that, like, talking about this stuff and doing this stuff and bringing this stuff in is so important. For me now, I've done a lot of training, a lot of learning, and I think that what my main thing just now is I'm having little wins, continuing that, not triggered, not being triggered, or sitting back or seeing something I maybe would have been triggered before from. And I just an example of something that's happened in my life that I've made the wiser decision. In my mind, I'm having a little win. You know, it's like that for me is progress.
Of course it is.
Like moving forward for me now, it's like I think that it's taken away from the, Craig spoke about the three circles of the different places to be in. You know, the red, is it the green and the blue?
That's right. Your drive, threat, and soothing zones. That's the Paul Gilbert three circle model.
Yeah, and I think I've spent far too much time in the red, and the threat, and in the soothing. Been going between them for so long that I'm forgetting to bring in the taking action and putting together things that I'm feeling creative about, and having that confidence moving forward. And I think that even just doing this video with you is like quite a big step for me now, because of kind of where I've been, and then what I've came through, and now trying to kind of almost recreate myself in this new way. It feels like a big deal, even though it's not, but it feels like it is. So I'm having to overcome it. Yeah. I think that's the little stumbling block for me right now is the taking action, the things that I feel passionate about, and being confident with it. That's kind of where I am, and that's the next step for me.
Yeah, and it's great. You're you're really committing. Excuse me. You're really committing to seeing this higher vision for yourself in terms of how you can serve the world in a positive way. So you're taking ownership for that, and that is part of that's part of the Dharma, the kind of that the Buddhists call your Dharma, your kind of life path and your purpose, and living your purpose. You kind of you have to, as part of that process, we have to extract ourselves from the mainstream environment and all the ways that they try and the mainstream media and political and all these other kind of control systems, the way they try and control people's perception and belief. You have to extract yourself from that, and you have to start to spend more time going inward, and that's what the practice can help to do of meditation. But you should be very proud of what you've committed to, because the path isn't easy either. The path of, they call it, I did a course with the Gnostic Association as well, which was brilliant, a course of self-knowledge, and they refer to this path as the death of the old self and the rebirth of the new. So we are shaking off some old ideas we maybe held about ourselves. We're shaking off old identities. We're shaking off old beliefs, and we're really starting to explore ourselves more fully, starting to explore the nature of our mind more fully, exploring the nature of this inner world of emotions and feelings a bit more. And that journey is the route to us realizing more of our human potential. Prior to that, we're maybe a bit automatic and repetitive in the way that we manage life day to day, because of all the stored patterns that have been developed in our brain over the years of our lives to this date. And now what we're starting to see is we're starting to observe those habits more clearly as we become more mindful, more aware, more present. And that gives us a lot of power to be able to be more objective with ourselves and say, there's that thought pattern emerging again. And when I can engage in that, it kind of makes me feel a bit like this. Maybe it's anger that it triggers, maybe it's frustration or impatience or, whatever, envy, whatever it is. We all have these moments that we experience this. But this practice gives us the power not to be controlled by that, but just to be the awareness observing it. So we're just watching it, and then we don't entertain it. We don't engage in the things that are not good and not helpful. And that's something that we develop over time with the practice. And that's why it's powerful, because if we think about everything that's ever been created, on this earth, that's been, it's come through through imagination, it's come through the human mind, and, both good things that have been created and not so good things that have been created. So unconscious behaviors around how we've treated the planet, unconscious behaviors about how we have conducted ourselves in different situations, the times where we were maybe corruptible, the humans are quite easily corrupted. Money has corrupted a lot of people, and that these things we now need to be able to see more clearly, our motivations and our actions, so that we can start to make better choices. And the more that we do that, and the more kind of peaceful we become on the inside as we walk that path, to become more awakened, then we start to be able to project a much greater and positive version of ourselves out to the world. And that has massive implications on on the I guess the elevation of human consciousness. It kind of helps other people to evolve as well. So that's why it's important, and that's why more people should maybe consider now that we've got this time of silence and stillness, and not being able to do the same amount of things, not being as busy as we once were. This is a time to reflect and say, right, is it my time to start moving on that journey? And know that if you do it, not only will you benefit, the people around about you will benefit, the planet will benefit, and you will also potentially open doors to a path that is really in line with your deepest passions and desires,
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like the ripple effect, isn't it? It's just going
Absolutely.
to keep going and going and going in a positive way. If you're putting positivity, into yourself, it's going to go outward and always. And it's going to get you in ways you don't realise. There's still things that come across my path now where I think I see something, maybe an opportunity or something that's almost that good. You're like, it almost knocks you off your balance, because you're like, wow, like this is, when I do this, this is real, like this is happening, and you're on that path. So I like little wins, because big wins normally knock me off.
That's right. One step at a time.
Exactly. I think like it's funny, like, because you do this personal development work. I've always been wanting to help other people, and I've always had this feeling of wanting to do it. And I think that I was trying to do it for so long, and I wasn't actually helping myself, and I wasn't actually being able to help people as much, because I wasn't doing the inner work. Okay? So it's getting to that place now where it's like, right, do the inner work, and then be more authentic the way you're trying to go, and it'll all just come naturally, rather than trying to force things. I always felt like when I was trying to force things, there was always just so much pushback, and that was creating a lot of conflict within me as well. And I've started being a bit more natural with my feelings, and starting to move forward into things. A bit like your course, actually. I was waiting for it to be aligned up and let things happen naturally. I mean, I think we was going to come on your course last year, and the timing wasn't right. I had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of conflict things, and we thought, right, we'll reassess it and stuff like that. It come to obviously December, and that wasn't still happening. Beginning of January, we had the chat, didn't we? And
we did.
And I says, right, well, if we can make it happen, then and I just felt like at that time I got a wee job finished, everything seemed to clear up. I had a window. Stephanie was going back to work, and she was working on Monday night till 7 o'clock, and it was literally 5 minutes up the road from where you were holding it, 7:15. So I would drive in, and it was just, at the whole time, I was never late once. And there was these things I'm trying to change in myself, bad habits, always being late. Make sure you're on time.
Yeah.
I think for that, when things are running smoothly and you're going there, and I've got the car 1 week when I'm travelling back the next, and the second week where I was travelling back in the bus, I was getting to really read and really take in what I'd learned, and I took the course really seriously, and
you did. Brilliant.
I think that what it's actually done, I knew it was going to do something for me, and I've been trying to tap into this for ages, but just the timing's not been right. Now that the timing's right, it's like, right, I do realise that I've learned quite a lot, and I've been learning quite a lot, and it is now time to kind of start talking about this like we're doing now, and helping other people, because there's a lot of people that can really, really benefit from practices, and it is actually really simple to do. That's the thing. Slow down, do nothing, slow down and relax, and just taking it in, and it's amazing what you're doing, and I'm glad to be on the path and on the journey with you.
Nah, thanks, Darryl. It was great to have you in that group, and this is where the the work for me is a privilege to be involved in, because everybody arrives at the course at a different place, at a different place in their life. And sometimes people arrive in there just because they're curious and they want to explore it. They've maybe heard a few things about it and think it could be useful for them. Some people arrive at the course because they've reached rock bottom. Some people arrive at the course because they've had many years of battling anxiety or stress or depression or whatever it is. Everybody's got their own reasons for coming to it. But to watch the progress over the 8-week journey is it's a privilege to be part of, because you do see, you see the group bonding, you see the kind of the conversations opening up, you see people starting to shed layers that they were carrying with them when they arrived on week one. You see people having realizations week on week, little epiphanies, things that are like, okay, now I can see that more clearly now. And so all these things, as you know, happen during the course, and people go away, and really then it's up to the individuals to decide to really be disciplined and commit to a regular practice, and then the benefits just keep on coming. And the practice will support and sustain people through any difficult periods in their life, because as you know, we've got certain practices that are good for certain times where maybe things are difficult. We can go and do our own practice, or when we need maybe just a wee bit more self-care or whatever, we can do a self-compassion practice. And these types of things are very supportive in life. But I think this kind of this whole experience that we're all having now is going to be affecting people in lots of different ways, and fear and anxiety are probably quite high at the moment. People have encountering maybe some financial concerns and worries. Financial stability is maybe not there. The unknown nature of the future as well will be troubling people right now. And this is where we need to adapt and get more used to not knowing. We need to get used to the unknown and be very open to mystical things happening if we allow it to happen. But sometimes we try and be too forceful to try and find answers and get things out of the courses we go on, and get things out of the things that we read and the things that we watch online. We don't always need to just get stuff out of everything. Just what we're doing is we're just absorbing useful information, and then allowing, if we stay present with all that, it will take us in the direction that we need to go in. And the thing you mentioned it earlier about you're taking things a nice step at a time, and that is great to hear, because at before this kind of the pandemic stuff kicked in, people were in such a hurry to get places that they were putting themselves under a lot of stress and pressure, and maybe looking at what other people were doing and thinking, I'm not doing enough. But if somebody steps into this journey and they're starting to make, you referred again to little wins, little victories, little things that you start to see that you're doing differently, don't underestimate the how powerful that is to the wider the wider collective, because you're changing your energy as you're starting to free yourself from some of the old things in the past, because thought and feeling it carries an energy. Energy's got a frequency and a vibration. So when you're changing who you are through this process and changing the way that you feel, the way that you think and feel, you're having a very positive impact on the earth, on the wider collective. So just because you maybe haven't created your business yet, or you maybe not kind of have an audience or a following of however many people and other people have and all that kind of stuff, they're just on a different stage of their journey. And you wherever you want to get to, and for whatever reason that you want to serve people, if you've got a really positive message to get out there to serve people in a particular way, the people will come.
Yeah.
And that will emerge over time. But people should not get too despondent, thinking that they're maybe in a job that they don't really enjoy fully at the moment. They may be looking at what other people are doing and wishing they were doing something else, or maybe doing stuff in a different space. Everybody has got the ability to make that step. We just have to do it in practical ways to make sure that we're, if some people are building up a little kind of pot of cash just to give them a little bit of a buffer to move into a different kind of career path or whatever. But if you're making a conscious effort to try and keep growing and evolving, you're having an impact.
Yeah, no, definitely. I couldn't agree more, mate. I couldn't agree more. And it's good to actually see sometimes through this journey, I think that I have actually noticed that I have made a positive impact on people, because conversations we've had and people reaching out and stuff, and whether or not I'm being paid to coach them or I'm coaching them, it's a really, really nice feeling to coach people and help people and give them advice and then them to actually make the decision to start going in the direction that they want. Now that's having like a massive positive impact on everything that's around us. I feel great from it because I've helped somebody and in an authentic way where I've got here naturally and I'm helping people the proper way, And I think that kind of feeling is like the feeling that I want more of, if that makes sense. I want to keep going in that direction, being like, right, well, if that's happened, and rather than being like, right, well, I need to do this and I need to do that, and I'm not going to want to be, because these thoughts and feelings still come back for me. It does keep me driving towards where I want to go. I think that because we're going through this time right now, I've always been wanting to work hard on little things, and it's a good opportunity for people to work on these things, but it's also a good opportunity for people to do the complete opposite and to stop work altogether, because they maybe don't need to be working on anything right now. They maybe just need the rest, maybe just need the family time. And I think that's so important. It's like you say, to come back to personal journey, where they are on their personal journey. And this time right now for me, I'm like thinking about what I should be posting, or like what's the next move moving forward. And I'm like, I just don't really feel like posting, because everything that's going on, I don't have the answers to all this that's going on, and I don't need to have the answers. Moving forward, it's just trying to make good decisions, and whatever I am going to be doing moving forward, it's going to have a positive impact, on the collective, on the whole thing,
Of course. And everybody's got their own flavour of what they're going to give to the world, a kind of, some kind of niche that you've got, or some kind of groups of people that you will appeal to. And that's why there's enough for everybody, we shouldn't have a scarcity mindset thinking, there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of this out there, there's a lot of that out there. Yeah, I mean, there is this kind of space is becoming much more popular for people to move into, to try and make a business out of, and have, add value and then be paid and give yourself you and your family a nice existence from it. But everybody's got their own niche, their own message to give. Could be just a different flavour of another different message that somebody else has got out there, but you just do it in a different way, and you'll attract the people who need to hear your message. And I think the what I noticed when this all really kicked off was there was a real intensity around the amount of stuff that was being posted on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I was like, woof, immediately I stepped back from it. I did one post on LinkedIn and I stepped away. I said, we need space. This is what this is calling on us to do now. We need space. We don't operate in the old way we were operating, when everybody's in a hurry to get clients, to get this, to get that, to get that.
Yeah,
totally. Slow down. And because when we're doing that, we're being driven by sometimes ego. We're being driven by fear, trying to acquire and get as much as we can, as quick as we can. And we're not listening to what, how we're being guided, which is when we go a bit more into stillness and silence, we start to get more clarity that comes from our intuition. So staying present should not be seen as something that is distracting us from thinking and planning. We still need to do our planning and things like that, but we shouldn't see presence as an interruption to our lives because we need to keep thinking and doing and acting. Actually, the opposite is true, and the information and the wisdom that we get from being present more often will steer us on the right path. And that's just a very subtle change of in awareness and of thinking for people. We need that kind of mental shift to occur in more people now, where they're not, when we start to become much more aware of what's driving us. What is the thing that's driving us? And you referred to earlier with the 3-circle model, Paul Gilbert, and when we're in high drive and we're dipping in and out of the threat zone as well, then we're changing the body's chemistry at that point. There's biochemicals that are being released into the system. The body gets used to the chemicals that it's that we've been producing, and it wants more of it. So the body keeps taking us back to the familiar paths that we've been on. And if that's a path where we've been really operating at our max all the time, running about, constantly doing, then we may eventually get to the point where we hit the wall and we have to stop. I mean, to replace those chemicals of dopamine that we were getting from our intense activity with the soothing side, again, you referred to that, just knowing when to rest and when to recover. And that's where we access endorphins and oxytocin and the things that make us feel more connected, more balanced, more peaceful. That's when we can, when we replace the desire, the body's desire for the dopamine, we replace it with these other chemicals that help us to stay in a healthy balance. So we're not, we're not out of kilter. And that's how people who are, quite you get addicted to things, they get high, bursts of euphoria, and when they're when they're getting a stimulus of some sort, and it's dopamine that they're getting, and that the craving of the dopamine through activity and through other sometimes not helpful addictions can be the thing that can control people's lives. So this process and this practice can help us to be more in balance.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mate, you know your stuff.
It becomes ingrained the more that you talk it, the more that you read it, and the more that we understand it more, I guess, when we can apply it to our own lives. But that takes time, because we all, I mean, I've when I started out, not all that long ago, was still pretty naive, still, maybe a bit clumsy in my delivery of talking about subjects, and maybe not all that, with not with much depth, because you're just learning. So what you're doing is you're just trying to share your own interpretation of what you've learned, what you've read, what you've been taught, and eventually that, with repetition and more exploration and more, I guess, integration into your own life, it all starts to make sense. And so that's where it comes. But there's many things that I don't know, and there's many things that I've got to learn, and I'm kind of committed to trying to learn as much as I can, so that I can just continue to be able to serve people, and be as you said earlier, authentic, be credible. I think there is a kind of I think there's a lot of people out there that are really trying to, sometimes maybe trying to kind of step forward into this game and supporting others without necessarily integrating the practices themselves. They're talking at it more from a theoretical standpoint rather than actually living it, breathing it, and that's the transition that we need to take to become, that word authentic. Some people like it, some people don't, but I think to be more authentic, you need to embody what you're teaching and what you're delivering to other people. But also with that, it's okay to be able to support people based on the knowledge that you've accrued up to this point. You're maybe not an expert yet, but you're still able to pass on useful knowledge to people. Doesn't mean that you don't, you shouldn't be coaching people, or you shouldn't be trying to help and support people. It's just about knowing your limits. Knowing your limits. What do you know right now? Am I really kind of honestly embodying this myself because I'm really committing to it myself, or am I just kind of passing on information I've read in a book, but I'm not actually doing it myself? And that's where the change happens, where it goes from something that we becomes a theoretical topic to something that is lived and breathed.
Yeah, there's so much information, so many amazing quotes and things from books, phrases from books and stuff that I've actually started to really notice other people sharing, that seems to hit you, And it's like what you say, like when you're doing these things, it's like the Kevin Costner film, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, And it's so true. Like, I created this positivity page a wee while back, and I was just putting out how I was feeling and channeling some messages and phrases that I'd read and stuff like that. And people that were connecting with the page was just like, it took off quite quickly. But again, it was one of those times where it was like too much, too quick, and then it knocked me off. But I just think that it's funny when you'll come across the thing that you'd need next. It's when the student's ready, the teacher will appear type thing.
That's right. Absolutely.
That next level round the corner to talk about the unknown. How, because I've been doing this journey for a wee while in my own head as well, knowing that I need to change things maybe 3-4 years ago, and trying to make the changes towards it on that path, coming across all those different things. The amount of stuff I've forgotten that's helped me as well, is I just find it so intriguing, the whole thing and the whole process. And you're right, it's not easy. It's hard sometimes, where it's really difficult. But trying to stay in that place of that you're doing moving forward, and it's always it's always a rainbow the other side of the storm, and that kind of stuff. Like, I believe in all that. It's in that process.
That's right. And I think we human beings have a natural tendency to want to try and have things in life that are good all the time. We want things to be good and feel good all the time. So we've got a preference for that. And what that means is that we can sometimes try and avoid discomfort and avoid difficult things. And that actually, if we look at these things in a different way and see that actually this thing called life is actually the route to our highest potential, is through the door of our most difficult obstacles, really. So we need to go within and remind ourselves of the courage that we've got to be able to step through any major events, and be really gentle with ourselves as we go through that, and just be okay with the different feelings and emotions that bubble up, but always keep reminding ourselves of how powerful and strong we are, and how courageous we can be in any moment. And if we choose every day to do one thing that's courageous, and it could just be having a conversation with somebody, something that's been bothering us for a while, and we decide, oh, okay, I'm just going to have that conversation with that person, or I'm going to put myself out there in some particular way, or I'm going to be bold and I'm going to sign up for some course, or I'm going to, whatever it might be, there are different little small ways that we can be courageous every day. And that really builds up our resilience. It builds up our self-belief and our confidence to be able to navigate any difficult situations that come our way. And there's no doubt that mindfulness as a real foundation for that process can give us so many resources to help us to to walk that path with a bit more grace and a bit more ease, rather than it being highly dramatic and chaotic. So it's something that I think, and I hope that over this time in particular, more people start to get a sense that this could be their time to really commit to themselves in this way, because it is a commitment to yourself to do this.
Yeah, no, it's a big commitment, but it's a good commitment. And obviously, just want to come back to the course real quick. I think the way that you and Craig done the course, the way that it was formatted, the way it all you bounced off each other was really, really good. I think the way that you worked together and the way that you made everybody feel was it was an amazing process. And you could, like you say, your awareness of training it, and it's probably you're going through your own stuff, and what it's doing for you, probably taking things from different people. And because somebody else would talk and I was feeling wow, I remember that from 2 years ago, or I remember being in the exact position or feeling that, and maybe looking at things from different sides, or maybe an example of somebody else, how somebody else is maybe feeling towards me, and how I was going about my business, and it's really bringing it together, but also keeping it in a safe place. I connected with some of the people from the group, and it's good. It's going to be good to see, their journey. I think Mo was went over to Germany and stuff, and already kind of tapping in, and it just changes all aspects. Like you say, it's the way that you put yourself in that different environment, and already your body's starting to change. It's the chemicals and that you were just talking
Absolutely.
about. It's those feelings, you feel it running through your veins sometimes. You're like, oh, okay, this is quite. But once you start to adjust, I've done a few of these calls, trying to do this wee podcast show thing of talking to different people and these different avenues, and trying to just bring messages out that might be for that person, and that's kind of the idea of what I see myself doing moving forward, is just bringing some awareness and just seeing where it goes. And I have no idea where it's going to go. But I would just like to say thanks to you for obviously the course. It's great to stay connected with you.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you taking the time to do the call today.
No problem.
Send Craig my best.
Will do, absolutely. No, it's been a pleasure, Daryl. Thanks for asking me to come on, and we'll be keeping in touch, no doubt. And if there's anything else I can do, just where to find me. What you're doing is great. It's great to see somebody stepping forward and feeling into their purpose, and just taking it nice and gently, and see what unfolds. But all the intentions you've got are great, and I wish you well with it.
Thanks, and good luck to you in the future, and we'll stay connected, and I'll be able to see the journey anyway. So thanks very much. Appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck in these times, all right? Best of your family.
Thanks, Daryl. You too. Take care.
Man.
Cheers.